Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osmond. In this week's episode, anglers have a new spot to land the big one. The April airport passenger numbers are in, and hurricane season is here, so we'll have a look at local shelters available in the event of an emergency. Later on in the program, Joanne Magley sits down with the 7th Judicial Circuit Judge, Mary Jolley. Those segments and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I hope you stay tuned. Volusia County representatives, along with New Smyrna Beach City representatives, fishing enthusiasts, park visitors, and a few four-legged furry friends, celebrated the opening of the Riverside Fishing Pier at Smyrna Dunes Park. After a brief ceremony under the Park Pavilion, Volusia County Council Vice Chair and District 3 Representative Deb Denny's, along with other dignitaries, cut the ribbon to the pier, then dropped the ceremonial first line into the water.
The County Council, the entire council, is committed to providing recreational activities for our visitors and residents alike, which is why we knew the addition of this pier was so important.
The pier on the east shore of the Intercoastal Waterway at Ponce de Leon Inlet is 350 feet long and 10 feet wide. It features concrete pilings, 2 large shade structures, multiple benches, and a handrail designed for handicapped accessible fishing. Smyrna Dunes Park is bordered by water on 3 sides and is a haven for people who enjoy fishing, swimming, and sunbathing. It's also one of the few parks where people can bring their leashed pets to the river and inlet beaches. Funding for the pier was provided by the Volusia County Inlet and Port District and the Florida Inland Navigation District, which provided an almost $120,000 grant through its Waterways Assistance Program.
This project today is a perfect example of the County of Volusia getting the job done and bringing this type of beautiful development to your community.
Speaking for my fellow commissioners, we're all excited. We're all glad that this is just a new addition to what makes New Smyrna Beach one of the fastest growing cities in Volusia County. And we're happy about that. We're trying to do our very best to keep the charm and yet at the same token give you the amenities that you so richly deserve.
More improvements are on the way for the park, with demolition and construction on the boardwalk throughout the park beginning this month. Slated for completion by the summer of 2018, the 2-mile elevated boardwalk will have multiple observation platforms, shaded picnic pavilions with benches, and handicapped accessible walkways leading to the inlet, river, and ocean beaches. Cancer is now the leading cause of death here in Volusia County. However, one cancer is preventable. That will be the message on June 7th when medical providers, cancer survivors, parents, and community members gather together to discuss the human papillomavirus, its relationship to cancer, and protecting youth and young adults from developing HPV-related disease. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, about 1 in 4 people in the United States currently are infected by the human papillomavirus. Nearly all men and women get HPV at some point in their lives. When the infection lingers, the virus can cause cancer of the cervix, genitals, and throat. The purpose of the June 7th event is to build awareness of HPV and prevention and to open dialogue among the groups represented.
For parents, it's really important to look at ways to protect children, certainly from any disease, and here's an opportunity to protect them from cancer. And I encourage our young people to advocate for themselves to get vaccinated.
The summit is open to the public. There's no cost to attend. For more information or to register, you can log on to volusiahealth.com. It's not surprising that drug abuse is a direct or indirect factor in the majority of crimes. So, in an effort to address the root cause of many people's problems, some offenders in Volusia County are sentenced to drug court to see if they can turn their lives around. and the results have been very positive. The drug court on May 17th marked its 20th year by celebrating the success of people who are drug-free and likely not to return to the court system. Since 1997, when the Volusia County Drug Court began, 966 people have graduated and 79% have had no new drug charges within 2 years of completing the program.
If you had any idea how hard these people work, I mean, if you take mandatory work / full-time school, all the community service hours, all the treatment meetings, going to court, all of it, it's incredible as a human endeavor to accomplish. These people are worthy of your support and your congratulatory efforts today.
Circuit Judges Raul Zambrano and Matt Foxman congratulated each graduate during a moving ceremony at Athens Theater in DeLand. Friends and family packed the auditorium so they could cheer for their graduates. In order to graduate, participants must complete 4 phases of court supervision, treatment, office visits, and drug tests. They must also pay off all costs and restitution. Drug court participants are identified while in the felony system. Usually their defense attorney will see if drug court is an option, or a prosecutor may offer that as part of a plea negotiation instead of a prison term. All candidates are screened by a committee for approval, but the judge has the final say on whether their case is transferred into drug court. The participants have to agree to all terms of drug court, so it is ultimately their decision to enter the program. For more information on the drug court program, you can go online to circuit7.org and click on Drug Court under the Program/Services section.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
This week on Solutions for Your Life, Sharon Gamble, UF-IFAS Extension Agent in Volusia County, takes us on location to talk about what's involved in keeping chickens in Volusia County.
Hi, I'm Sharon Gamble with the University of Florida Extension Office in Volusia County, and I'm here today with Solutions for Your Life, and we're talking about the craze that's sweeping the country, backyard chickens. We're here today at a backyard chicken operation, and you can see by the house that's behind us. Your backyard coops can be cute, they can be entertaining. I've seen some of them that have chandeliers in them and paintings inside of them. People are taking their backyard coops to a new height and level. But how do you go about getting to keep chickens in your backyard? That's a very important point. First of all, you need to check on where you live with whatever municipality or county government that is in charge of the property that you're residing on. There are several cities that have adopted ordinances that allow people now to keep chickens in their backyard. And in Volusia County, Port Orange has just recently adopted a ordinance, as has Orange City, which has had one. Deltona also has an ordinance. So you need to check with your planning and zoning departments to see if you're allowed to keep them. And if so, what are their requirements? Because they do vary slightly from city to city. Ed Williams is one of our master gardeners, and he embraced the concept of raising chickens in his backyard.
I think the ordinances are headed in the right direction. Chickens are not a problem. They don't smell, they don't make too much noise, they don't bother people, so there's no reason not to have chickens.
Here's what you need to know if you decide you want to do this, and it is a lot of fun, and your chickens in this case will probably become your pets as much as anything. So you need to know when you go in this endeavor, this pet you're likely to have for 9 to 14 years because that's about the lifespan of a chicken. Now a hen will only really be good for laying eggs for up to 3 years as a heavy producer, and after that, that hen will start to fall off in her production. So then you have a pet from thereafter.
My wife and I decided to raise chickens because it seemed like it was going to be fun, and indeed it is. The chickens are a hoot, they're fun to watch, they're educational to watch, and we get a nice breakfast.
The other thing is when you go to get your birds, you're usually going to have to go and find them as little chicks at the feed stores or from someone that's producing them. And you'll have to raise that chick up until she's able to lay, which starts around 20 weeks of age. At that point, she will lay eggs as long as she's got about 14 hours of daylight. Of course, the question is how often does a chicken lay an egg? Under optimal conditions, a chicken will lay an egg every 25 hours. So people say, I get an egg a day from my chickens. After about 24 days, you're going to skip one. So, but that is under optimal conditions where they're really monitoring the feed, the intake, and also the light conditions. For a home producer, you can figure you're going to get about 6 eggs every 7 days. So a lot of the ordinance will limit how many chickens you can actually have, and they'll vary from anywhere from typically 4 to 5 hens. And 4 to 5 hens really produces enough eggs for about a family of 6 to consume about as many eggs as you really want to. The question always comes up, is it economically feasible to raise the chickens? Quite frankly, you can buy your eggs cheaper in the grocery store, but you also have the enjoyment of the chickens, and actually, I hate to say this, but they're pretty entertaining.
This is good for kids. The kids that come here, I do some teaching. They love the chickens, and they love to feed the chickens, and the chickens eat out of their hands.
If you need to know more about raising chickens in your backyard, the Agricultural Center in Volusia County, we are happy to help you and provide you information. We're offering classes on keeping chickens in your backyard. So we're here to help you and to answer questions and to help you have a happy and fulfilling experience with your backyard chickens. If you think you'd enjoy having some chickens in your backyard, you need to check with your planning and zoning, find out if you qualify where you live, and if you need information, I am happy to help you. And your prize for your efforts will be your own eggs in your backyard. I'm Sharon Gamble with Solutions for Your Life.
Bad weather in Atlanta in April produced significant flight cancellations for Delta Airlines and resulted in a decrease in passenger traffic at Daytona Beach International Airport.
Not only in Atlanta, but across the United States, it had a negative impact. It took them about 5 days to catch up on their operations, but not only did it cancel 22 flights here, but you also had several other flights that were disrupted, passengers that had to be diverted to Jacksonville or Orlando to find alternative ways to get to Daytona Beach.
Passenger traffic at the Volusia County Run Airport decreased 9% in April in comparison with April last year. During the month, 61,606 passengers flew in or out of the county-operated airport when compared to more than 67,000 passengers last April. Cassens added that although the unusual and disruptive weather this spring impacted projected passenger numbers, JetBlue continues making progress over 2016, with load factors increasing each month this year.
So that's very, very positive for things to come, and hopefully we continue to see that trend in the summer months and in the fall as well with JetBlue.
Be sure to like the airport's Facebook page to stay up to date on all of the latest news with Daytona Beach International Airport. For many, 2016 will be the year Volusia County residents experienced the impact of a major hurricane in more than a decade. When Hurricane Matthew passed by Volusia County October 7th of 2016, it left in its wake more than 10,000 homes, businesses, and government facilities impacted, and more than 1 million cubic yards of debris. As June 1st approaches, Volusia County Emergency Management reminds Volusia County residents to make sure they are prepared for this hurricane season, which is from June 1st to November 30th. It's important to keep in mind that when it comes to hurricanes, it only takes one storm to change your life and community, as was the case with Hurricane Matthew in 2016. Residents should decide in the planning stages where they will stay if an evacuation order is issued. Most people find it more comfortable to stay with friends or relatives who live well inland. For those who have no alternatives, hurricane shelters will be available at key locations across the county. Additionally, as part of the evacuation planning, residents should determine if they would seek shelter at a general population or pet-friendly shelter, or if they need assistance at a special needs shelter, or will need to seek a shelter at a medical facility that can manage their medical needs.
We can do so much on our end to prepare, to have the schools ready, to have the shelter management teams in place, to have the food ready, and make sure that the facility is going to work well. But the public is a big part of the preparedness equation. So, make sure when you're coming in the door, if you're at a pet-friendly shelter, you've got your pet supplies, you've got that dog crate, cat crate, you've got some extra food, some water, and some items to be able to help you safely and comfortably stay for maybe anywhere from 2 to 3 days.
For more information, to identify shelter locations, or to register for a special needs shelter, you can visit volusia.org/emergency and click on Before a Disaster in the left side menu. Additionally, special needs shelter evacuees should contact Volusia County Animal Services at 386-248-1790 to discuss assistance for sheltering pets. Residents are also encouraged to sign up to receive emergency telephone or email notifications from Volusia County Emergency Management at volusia.org/emergency. Foster care and adoption provide unique opportunities to change children's lives and enrich the lives of the families that welcome them in. Community Information Director Joanne Magley has more on foster and adoption services available here in Volusia County.
Thanks, Amber. Well, there are more than 800 children in Volusia County that are currently in our foster care system. And to talk more about this topic is Judge Mary Jolley of the 7th Judicial Circuit, who presides over family court. Hi, Mary.
Hi, Joanne. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you again.
Me too.
You were a longtime member of our Volusia County family, so we miss you, but we're very happy of your new position. Not so new, but sitting in the judgeship.
I've had great years with the Volusia County Attorney's Office, so it's kind of fun to be back and to sit with you this way.
Right. So as I mentioned, there's more than 800 children that are currently in the system. We'd like that number to be 0. So how does that compare right now as far as other years where there have been children in our system?
Unfortunately, the number has increased, and we can attribute that to a variety of things, but the number has gone up. That's an 850 number. About 350 are in foster care, in actual traditional licensed foster homes. The remainder of that number remain in what we call relative placements, which can be grandparents or aunt and uncles, or non-relative placements, which are families that are family friends that come in and step up, and then a small number of children in dependent care or foster care and other placements. So while that number is large, a lot of those children are still with family members or family friends in the process, so as we go through the dependency process. But the number has increased since 2015.
And so I assume these are children from all age ranges, infants, teenagers?
They are. We see them from birth. We'll see them right from the hospital all the way up to the late teenage years, and varieties, siblings. So I can't pinpoint a particular age. Unfortunately, parents have issues at any time during their children's childhood, and I'll see the children at a shelter hearing, which is the initial proceeding that starts a child in the dependency system, and they're at any age. And I always try and make a point of talking to each child alone or with a guardian ad litem, not alone, but with a guardian ad litem or a family member, to try and ease them a little bit in what is a very hard and strange and scary process.
So what are typically the circumstances that will lead a child to go into the foster care system, whether it's with a foster family or even with relatives?
It's triggered, the bulk of a majority of my cases are parents that are struggling with substance abuse, domestic violence, and so it's abandonment, abuse, or neglect that are triggered by those circumstances, mental health issues of the parents. But the primary cases I see are parents that are struggling with substance abuse and mental health issues. Those are, we do see some domestic violence as well. So those are the three main categories, and if the children are found to be, those circumstances trigger where the parents can't care for themselves, so therefore they can't care for the children, which leads to abandonment or neglect or abuse, and it's upon that finding that I will shelter a child.
So then there's a team in place, there's the court system, there's child welfare advocates. How does that team work together then on the behalf of the children?
It's amazing, the team we have in place here in Volusia County. Community Partnership for Children is the local foster care agency. They have case managers that are assigned. Obviously, a child protective investigator will initiate and investigate a family. Ultimately, a case manager is assigned to the child and the parents. They work with the parents. The Guardian Ad Litem program comes in and also has and works in the best interest of the child. So I'll have a Guardian Ad Litem lawyer and volunteer as well. And then whatever services that Community Partnership for Children will put in place for the parent and the child, whether it be therapeutic, we do, I hear all about the therapies that the children do. So we have a whole team of people that come together in our courtroom in DeLand, and lawyers for, obviously, on behalf of the parents that are appointed or they retain them, and then a lawyer on behalf of the department. And the unique thing about our dependency court in DeLand is how well we all work together. I inherited an incredible courtroom, and everyone works together for the child and for the parents, and the services are there for anyone that needs them. And I've really been amazed at the professionalism, but just that everyone's heart and mind and the law is all driven for the best interest of the child.
And you mentioned reunification, and obviously that's the best outcome for the children, is to be able to be reunified with their parents. How often does that happen?
The numbers are around 50%. That's what's reported to me. I see it in my courtroom probably a little bit, maybe a little bit less than that, but look, every child wants to be with mom or dad, or mom and dad. And one of the greatest results is for me to close a case to reunification. It's heartwarming, and nothing warms my heart more to see a mom or dad leave their courtroom full of tears with those children, and I can throw that file away and know that they're healthy and safe. So it's half the cases, and the best result for the child, and knowing that they can go back into a safe home where mom and dad are in a healthy environment is the goal of it. And that's the perfect textbook dependency, shelter, case plan, closure to with reunification.
So as I understand it, there is a real need for foster parents. What needs to happen as far as getting more people to be a foster parent?
The Community Partnership for Children will tell you, we just need folks that are committed, that will love and provide a stable home for a child, whether it be, and some foster parents or couples or families come in with the hope that they are a prospective adoptive placement. Others are just traditional foster parents, where they will take a child in for that period of time where mom and dad get their feet back underneath them. So it's time, love, stability, and the commitment to parent a child during the time that those children need that the most. So anyone that's willing to step up and be a foster parent, I don't see the foster parents that much. They are behind the scenes doing this incredible job, but when I see them in court and they bring the children, I'm always kind of blown away at their commitment, but the commitment they provide and the love they provide for these children in a time that the children need it the most. So anybody can be a foster parent. If they want to reach out to Community Partnership for Children, please do so, because I know that they're always looking for willing, stable people that just want to commit to a child.
The ceremonies, I'm sure the adoption ceremonies are pretty touching. Are there any that that come to mind?
I'm a crier, so I cry through a lot of them. I did, for the first time, was asked to take part in National Adoption Day in November, which is a mass adoption day, and that was, I probably cried, and 3 or 4 of the adoptions that I did that morning were children that are here I've seen in DeLand. The last one that I did was a young girl, and I had the first adoption I ever did was her sister, so they had adopted the 2 children, so it was really special. But obviously National Adoption Day is ceremonious, but it's still the same family. Several highlight in my mind. Seeing a teenager adopted by a family friend moved me to no end. A very special young girl who's had her bumps. I saw her in delinquency for the first time. That's my first time. And then I do unified families, so it's 1 court, 1 family, 1 child. So I'll have children that we call them crossover. They've been in the delinquency system, and I also have them in dependency. And I had a young girl that was in both, and she was adopted. And while she came in and she's a teenager, it was very special for all of us to see her have permanency. She deserves it. And then another young boy, a little baby, that was with his prospective adoptive placement since I came on the bench, and there was nothing better, just waiting for things to fall into place to see him finally go home with the only people he'd ever know to be his parents.
Wow, that's awesome.
Pretty cool.
So if someone wants more information on becoming a foster parent or really being involved in any way with the foster program, how can they do that?
Again, I always go back to my my stall, Wharton Community Partnership for Children, and their foster care liaison is Lori Bainbridge, and that's who anyone can contact, and her number is 386-736-5400, extension 4041. And there's a main number for Community Partnership for Children, which is 386-238-4900. They do the hard work in this county, and my hat's off to them and their fearless leader, Mark Jones. He quietly and humbly leads these case managers and CPIs every day, and without them, we'd really be in tough shape. But it's just a pleasure to be able to do what I do every day. It is hard to see children taken out of their homes, but rewarding to see them, the resilience that they have. And anyone that has been in front of me know that the teenagers in foster care have a special place in my heart, and I will always take the time to talk to them, whether it's I need some clothes to here, have some Kit Kats to get you through the day. But their resilience, I always say they've walked further in their shoes than I have, and my hat's off to them.
Well, Judge Mary Jolley, thank you so much for being here today and talking about the program, and hopefully people that are out there watching, maybe it'll spur them to get involved.
I would love it, and they can come watch anytime. Every Wednesday we do it in our courtroom to get an idea of what it's like, but we welcome anyone that would either to mentor or to become foster parents. In the long run, it's incredibly rewarding.
All right, well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Amber, back to you.
Thanks, Joanne, and thank you too for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Osmond, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.